Here's a short clip from one of our most recent episodes. If you enjoyed it, please check us out on YouTube, Spotify, and YourVibesPodcast.com. So, kind of, I guess, in these changes, from hitting it, getting into some bigger type work over the past 3 years, what's been kind of the biggest challenge for you so far? I mean, just throughout the whole business.
I'd probably say this last year has probably been the biggest challenge for me has been letting go. Letting go of tasks.
Interesting. Yeah.
Letting go of me not having to micromanage. I think I'd gotten burned on it in the past, trying to back off and not be so involved in the business. So I think that's been huge for me for the success of the company and the growth of the company. I think that moving forward, I need to let go more.
Okay.
And one thing I've really worked on is finding strengths of the guys that work for me, and allowing them to really fine tune that strength. Like for instance, I got a new guy that has come to work for me. He's probably about a month to 2 months in. So I've had him running hardscapes with some guys. I've had him running landscape installs with some guys. I've had him running cutting grass. He's good at all of them. So, at that point in time, I try to have about once a month sit-down meetings with the guys, one-on-one, talk about what they like about the company, what they want to see changed, what they want to see out of me, what they want to see out of their other coworkers. So, and then also, what do they enjoy? And I constantly ask that. What do you enjoy doing? What do you enjoy doing? A lot of times they'll give you a bullshit answer.
Sure.
I enjoy this one day, but I enjoy this the next.
Sure.
And I'm the same way, but I also see what are they performing at the best. So, obviously if one guy's really good at hardscapes, but he hates doing it, he's probably going to do hardscapes because he's good at it, because he's going to like it.
Sure.
If he sees the finished product and he's really good at it. So, I try to then place those individuals in those areas of the business where they can continue to hone that craft. So I think that's been a really big step for me, because I'm able to not be on those jobs so often.
You're working on the business, not in the business.
Correct. Working on the business, not in the business. So I'll kind of go, the start of a project, I'll go there, run them through what's going on. Obviously we have every single morning we have morning meetings. So guys are supposed to be there at 7. Funny thing too, if my guys are late, they got to do 25 push-ups. I got one boy he does 50 to 75 push-ups a week. And I count them out.
I bet he's getting swole.
I know, that's what everybody else says. I count them out like Major Payne. Just,
whoa, biggie.
Yeah. But, we kind of talk about what's going on for that day, and then where we're at on our projects, what we have coming up in the next weeks. But, I'm able to go there at the beginning of a project, show them what's going on. I try to give them as much information as possible.
Communication.
So that I think that was a problem for me in the past. That's one thing that has changed this year. And it's been huge because, for instance, right now we're doing a huge project in Hendersonville. And I wouldn't say there's that many moving parts, but we're doing like 1,000 square foot travertine patio with some retaining walls and some stairs and some water features in it and some lighting and stuff like that. I've probably been working on that site a total of 8 hours, me hands-on.
Sure.
And we're going on our second week over there. I think I had scheduled 10 days, and I think we're on day number 6 total there. So, they're going to do 90% of the work without me being on site,
watching over
them. Which, if they have questions, they'll FaceTime me and ask me.
Okay.
FaceTime is huge.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I can't even imagine being a business in 1970.
I know.
Like, nobody had cell phones. Like, you send your crew out for the day, like, hey, guys, here's what you're doing today. Good luck.
Don't screw it up.
Let me drive over to the gas station and sit there all day, and then drive back to the office and say, yeah, I did this work all day. I can't even imagine.
Yeah, it's an ever-changing world, man, and with you stepping out of the business, what's that step look like? Delegation. Nobody with this podcast, I'm already at the point where I'm sourcing social media managers, and people that will be able to at least help me or to edit the podcast. You know what I mean? Because I can't do it all. I mean, this is a no pay side gig that is building a foundation for something much, much bigger. But it's tough because I was looking at my analytics. People drop off at 11 and a half minutes. You're we're at 30 right now. Yeah. We've probably got 7% of the same people listening, that started. Yeah. So that's why I started doing these clips. Obviously Joe Rogan's got these 3-hour podcasts, and I'm not trying to mimic him, but I also don't like to cut conversations short. So I want to be able to have it all, and now I've got all this material that I can chop up just like Gary Vee does. You can get 15 minutes, but you can do 50 different things with it.
Yeah, but also you get, I've done this before, especially with Gary Vee. It's like, hey, I heard this clip of it, but I know I listened to a little bit of this podcast. Let me go back and finish listening to the podcast because I heard that clip, but I did not remember listening to that.
And that clip was 45 minutes in, you know what I mean?
The clip is a catcher. Mm-hmm. So
just
real
quick.
We got to have some stuff in here where it's like grabs the attention.
It's exactly right. Yeah, and I think that most of the good stuff too. Yeah. The conversation doesn't get warmed up till like 15 minutes in. So people dropping off at 11 minutes are really missing the meat of the whole thing. So, where were we at? Oh, the next step for you. So, I know you. I play golf with you. You smash the shit out of the ball. Even with you broke your back and your neck, and you're still smashing it, dude.
Bionic man.
I know, right? He's just piecing part together, and he's killing it. So obviously, landscape has got so many different directions it can go, and the growth on it is infinite almost. So you're stepping out a little bit, getting your hands a little less dirty than they were before, not completely, but what's the next step for you in this stepping back? Where are you going to start dipping your fingers in? Where are you going with it?
So as you know, me and my dad started a new construction business. So we do development and new construction. So we started that last year. My biggest thing with looking at a business, and this is for any business, is if you want to start another business, and for anybody listening, I tell this to people all the time. If you have a job and you want to make more money, start a side hustle. Mm-hmm. I make really good money in my landscape company, and I have another business that is my side hustle. So if you're out there working a 9-to-5 for somebody, you have a lot of time left in the rest of your week to make an extra $500. Mm-hmm. So your goal should be to try to replace your income with your side hustle, and then if you want to get out of your 9-to-5, go to your side hustle and start another side hustle. Yep. So the home building was my side hustle. So, we started that, like I said, last year. I think we built like one house last year, and, we made some good money on it. Right now, currently, we have 2 out of the ground, one about to be out of the ground. So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm always looking for ways to feed my other businesses. So obviously building homes feeds my landscape company because the home's got to have landscaping. It's got to have grade work. It's got to have, clearing the lot. It's got to have all these things. So, I got some stuff up my sleeve right now that I'm about to hopefully start another business here in July to August. Cool. That's going to feed my landscape company as well.
That's how you do it though, right? Yeah. And a lot of people don't get it. They're like, oh, like I can do this, but how do I get it to grow? And here's my whole thing. And I've known this, but I've never really had it put in my face until 2020. I think the coronavirus is, whatever you may believe about it, as shitty as it may have been, or as as unshitty as it may have been, or overemphasized, things happened, and it caused a lot of people to get creative about things. Oh yeah. And I think it was Grant. We can talk about him. He's just a wild dude, man. Grant Cardone is, love him or hate him, you know what I mean? He's got some really good content out there, but I think that one of his big things, kind of in tandem with this content deal, is attention. get attention. Just fucking put you. Yes, be everywhere at all times, no matter what. And so that hit me like a ton of bricks because my book, I'm in hospitality and insurance, and obviously that took a fucking cutthroat hit during Corona. So all these chainsaws I was juggling kind of just fell apart, and so I had to figure something else out. I was like, how can I get attention? Boom, podcast, networking groups, trivia at the Furnace Brewing. Like, I don't get paid for any of that, but it's attention, and I don't really consider. I mean, it's hard work. It's obviously a shitload of time and a lot of action per se, but I enjoy it. You know what I mean? It's a very creative process to do that, and I think growing in that direction, people. The old ways of sales, they're changing, man. I mean, they're really, really changing as far as cold calls and cold emails and mailers. Like, you can't get getting in front of people is so difficult because their attention span and
even with all that we have going on.
I know
how easy it is to get in front of people.
How easy it is to get in front of people, but how much their attention span is less than a goldfish. You know what I mean? You've got to get them in a way that is so repetitive, yet so short and precise, and get in, get out. That's what people want. They don't necessarily like to leisure around, and one of the benefits of the podcast is that it's a relaxing environment. You get to hang out, and I kind of enjoy that aspect. But again, it's attention. You know what I mean? You just do things that feed everything else.
Yeah. I think one thing that, was introduced back in the day is your network. Your net worth is your network. Mm-hmm. And I didn't really ever believe that. Well, I kind of believed it until probably these past 2 to 3 years where I've seen how many referrals and people I've been introduced to, and on the real estate side, how I've been able to grow my net worth by individuals that I've met and purchased property from and been, introduced to other people and, been able to kind of raise money and to be able to make some deals happen. And, my goal is, to be, I won't be known by everybody, but to be known as somebody who does, good stuff in the community. Mm-hmm. But, I feel like I'm on the right path to doing that. But that kind of takes you back. And, if you want to be successful in business, you got to know a lot of people, but you also got to do right by a lot of people. Yep. You got to be able to help somebody out without expecting your hand out afterwards.
Exactly right.
What do you want from, what can I give you? So I try my best to do that, help people out. But I think this year in particular has become really hard, as busy as we are. Helping friends out or helping even individuals out that I want to become more acquainted with, just because we're so busy. But it feels good to have people like that reach out to you saying, they heard, got your name from so-and-so or, things like that. But I do think social media, like you said, helps you get in front of those people.